Hi everyone, and welcome back to me now again. This is number 13. I'm recording this now inside my garage because I was up here doing a small bit of work and I said we'd do another episode. So here we are. For just following on from the last day, I suppose, for years and years and years, I was back and forth to England, even when I was in my last job, and kind of as a sideline. And I was doing it for a good while on my own, and then I suppose it must be maybe some 12 or 13 years ago, my best friend in the whole world, Pat Coakley, or Paddy as I call him, in Skibbereen, started one day, I just said to him casually one day, I said, would you like to come on away for a trip? Other times people used to sit in sometimes and come away for a trip, more times they wouldn't. And I was quite happy doing it on my own really. But I'd fly over to England, pick up a car, drive back, clear it, flog it. That's the way it works. But Chris Petty started travelling with me, and we became best friends. And for years and years and years, the two of us, like when we got going right, the run was like every 3 weeks. And again, this sounds like a world now with COVID and everything. A world this sounds like something that pie in the sky. But I used to book. I booked every 3 weeks. I go ahead and I book flights, and I book two of us on two flights, one into Liverpool and one maybe into London Gatwick or Stansted, or maybe I might book three of them. It didn't matter because we were buying off of maybe about 20 different dealers around the UK. Well, 17 or 18 different dealers that we could trust. And we wouldn't know until maybe the day before or the day that we were travelling whether we were going to go to Liverpool or go to London. But we'd always go in one way or the other. If we went to Liverpool, most of the dealer friends we'd over there would meet us at the airport. You'd be in Liverpool at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the rest of the day was your own. And if we went down to London, you'd be involved in trains and all the rest of it, and taxis and trains and stuff to get to the dealers, and jump into the cars and start heading home. Now, like I said before, we'd always give an overnight there because Paddy introduced me to Indian food, and I am now a complete and utter authority on it, and I absolutely love it. And we'd always find a really nice Indian, a few pints of Cobra beer, and we would ultimately, somewhere along the line, I'd find myself at a little antique shop or a market or an antiques fair or something, and something old. And that was kind of, I suppose, really it was helping an awful lot of things. But it was my escapism, And then from years, then soon after that, like I explained before, I don't follow sport in the such that, I'd sit down and watch an old match that was on or something, or if Cork were playing in the All-Ireland or something like that, in hurling or football. But, or maybe if Ireland were playing a soccer match, I might, I suppose realistically I'd probably end up watching the second half or the last 10 minutes or something like that. And I don't know why, but I was in the wrong queue. I know, look, it's almost a given that 99% of, especially men and even women, follow sport and stuff. I was never competitive, and I never was. But my whole thing was like, my equivalent of all of that then was like that every single year, for years and years and years and years, myself and Paddy and Jerome Reagan went with me one year, and Paddy couldn't travel. We would head off to what is called the Beaulieu International Auto Jumble, classic car auto jumble, down in the south of England. There are a couple of brochures that I found, they're going back a good few years now, and to me, this was my All-Ireland final, this was my World Cup, this was my week away. And it was a pilgrimage is what it was, and anybody who was interested in it doesn't even have to be cars, but anybody who's interested in that kind of the old world, we'll say, we'd head off. The excitement to be about the month before, and then we'd head off, and you see there was great pressure. It was nice for me because there was no pressure in the sense that I wasn't necessarily going buying stuff especially in the later years and stuff, to sell or anything like that, but we'd head away with a few pounds in our pocket, and we'd do the same thing. We stayed in the same hotel. We used to stay below Bournemouth in the south of England, and we used to drink in the same bars, and we used to eat in the same restaurants, and we, like, in the sense that, the whole cheers thing where everybody knows your name, like, that we and the same coffee shops and everything, and then you go down into the field, you meet the same old codgers, and year after year after year, and it was you have the National Car Museum is there, which you get to see. I mean, there was every one year there was Elvis's Cadillac, the last Cadillac that Elvis drove, the last car he drove the day before he died was there. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is there. The Trotters, the independent trading van is there. Mr. Bean's Mini and so on and so forth. The loads of James Bond stuff if you're into that. But the field, about 2,500 stands, not fields and fields and fields and fields. This thing was huge, you know, and you were walking down, entering into a world. The only way I could describe it now, if I can describe it to somebody who follows sport, when I was got through the gates of Beaulieu, it was the equivalent now of somebody that was really into their sport, got through the turnstiles above in Croke Park or wherever the case may be. And as if you were walking through and knowing it was All Ireland Day and your team was going to win, you knew it was going to win, you were guaranteed to win. That's the way I'd be going through the gates going down into Beaulieu. The excitement, I was like a child inside in a sweet shop. And we'd go away for an entire week. We'd give the 3 or 4 days below there and inside below around the field, stuck with our lads there and talking about all engines and pieces and parts. But it'd be more than that. There was everything in Beaulieu. And the saying in Beaulieu is that the International Car Auto Jumble that was on in September, the first week in September, if you wanted a part for a classic car or a motorbike, if you couldn't find it in Beaulieu, it wasn't on the planet, basically, is what was the tagline. But there was so much more there. There was, like, I mean, you know, the way these things attract everything, there was everything for sale there. But, and you're inside in a world of people that everybody was on the same wavelength, you know, everybody was just like a child inside in the sweet shop. Now, to be fair, you would see the odd wife or girlfriend around the place right outside the field with a pair of heels on, and not looking too impressed, but by and large, most people that were there absolutely adored it. But that was kind of our pilgrimage for that. And like I say, for years and years we were back and forth to cars. It was and it was very good to us, you know. And I suppose, like, more recently now, with the onset of everything that's happened, of course that world is gone now, the car world, imported cars, it's finished now as well. But and I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not going to take the conversation down now, no matter what happens. But a few years ago, you know, didn't I go off on, I got a notion and I headed off on a trip over to Hungary on my own because I wanted to go travelling on my own. And I just got a notion, booked a flight, and didn't I strike away over there and I was there for about 8 days kind of travelling around and buying stuff. And I just want, you know, what I want to talk about now is, I suppose, and bought stuff and got it all put together into one little truck and got it brought it all back here and stuff. And that was, it was something I wanted to challenge myself as well, which I managed to do, and it was all kind of antiques, of course, and stuff for the vintage room. And that was a very, very interesting trip. And I had planned to go back in 2020. That was the plan. I was going back again September just gone, which obviously didn't happen, and it won't happen this year either, I suppose, but maybe down the line. It's a country I'd love to go back to. But the few observations and a few things about Hungary, lovely country. I was now way out in the kind of in the real, you know, real rural parts of I headed away east. I wasn't in Budapest now. Headed way east and got to see the real country, you know. And the people were lovely, absolutely lovely, and the country was lovely. But it was so good for the soul, in the sense that, to me, it was like going back in time, back maybe where I'd love to go back to, maybe 20 or 25 years ago. And I remember being inside in when you'd go into a cafe or something, you'd see even young people are sitting outside a cafe. And this is not, I'm not poking, and I haven't got young people out today or anything, but over here. But I'm just saying that when you went in, you saw them, and they were all sitting down around a table, or young or old, it didn't matter, and everybody was engaged and everybody was talking, and there was nobody on their phones. Right, just now I'm going back about over 2 years ago, and this could be anywhere, inside any cafe or restaurant or anything like that. And then if you were out around the park, out for a walk or stuff, you saw people everywhere, and they were sitting there reading books and magazines or whatever the case may be. And I googled it one day, and it turned out, ironically, I got my phone, I was googling, because I was saying, well, this is really cool. And it was like here 25 years ago, like you never ever see anybody going to the train station or the airport or whatever the case may be, anywhere here, reading a book or magazine. Or people don't talk. Jeez, nobody talks. I'm as bad myself. If I'm sitting down outside in the airport with myself at Auckland, we could be going over to bloody London or wherever the case may be, and the two of us, he'll be on one phone, I'll be on the other. And yeah, but the and that's just the way the world has gone. But then I Googled it and it turned out like that. There was internet over there, of course, and the phones and the Wi-Fi, but it was like here 20 or 25 years ago where there wasn't all you can eat data or anything. You got a package and it was affordable but expensive. So it was at a level like, you know, like where everything goes like in a weighing scales. It was like here at one stage where like when it came first it was too expensive, nobody could buy it at all. And then the price started, you know, getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And you get to a level where it becomes really good value for money and you can use it for when you need to use it and specifically for that you can afford it. But after that you're not going to be stuck in it day and night. And they were at that level then and I thought it was absolutely, do you know what, if there was any way we could go back to it. Now I know there's that sounds a bit bad, but like you know, do you remember a time when somebody if somebody rang you from America, you would remember the phone call, you remember the date it was made, and you remember what the conversation was about, because phone calls were meaningful and stuff, and if somebody rang you they had something to say or to have a conversation, whatever the case may be. Where now we're continuously ringing each other and texting each other, and for God's sake, you know what, we're living inside each other's pockets, and we've nothing to say afterwards really, and then the important stuff is lost inside in the middle of all that other rubbish. But that was, I remember that, I thought it was just beautiful, and I felt like then if you were inside, I was inside an awful lot of small towns and stuff, and when you were inside the small towns it was a case of or any town really I suppose, like which you were walking around, you know, all these small little businesses, again like it was here maybe 30 years ago if you go back, where like if you wanted meat you went to the butcher shop, if you wanted flowers you went to the florist, if you wanted baking you went to the bakery, the newsagent, the grocer, the fruit and veg, the bakery, the bookshop, all these little businesses inside the town, and nobody fucking, you know, like everybody working away grand and a community together, and everybody making a living out of their little business, and it was lovely because it was really sociable. If you want, you'd go from shop to shop and you'd be meeting different people, you know, and as well as that, beautiful big bookshops and stuff. I was inside in these huge bookshops, just wandering around. I should they didn't have any English in them, like, but I'd be still looking at them. And I felt really sad in a way because I felt like it was like almost I felt like a time traveller. Isn't that a strange thing? And that I'd almost gone back, that I'd come back in time, and that I was saying, should I warn them, you know? Should I tell people what's coming down the lines, you know? What's coming down the tracks to them, you know? In a few short years, you're all going to have as much social media as you want for nothing, or whatever you call it, that, and the devil knows what else, and you're going to stop talking to each other, really. And yeah, but it's a country I want to go back. I love to go back there, you know. And I did a couple of interesting things, you know. If I went out to a restaurant, I'm a bit strange in ways, and I know that, you know. But if I went out to a restaurant in a country like that where I travel to, and I love going in where they don't have an English menu, and they'd give you the menu, you know. And I leave my phone inside my pocket. In fact, I go to the bother of switching it off, in case I'm tempted. And under no circumstances whatsoever will I Google the menu or try to see what it is. And or I'd be sitting there on my own. Now maybe if I was traveling with someone else, they'd insist that I would. But so you'll be going through and you'll be trying to guess, and I'm desperate at guessing stuff because I'm desperate at languages to take. And I know how to be there. I just know where I'll ask. And I'd pick a starter, the main course, whatever. And I'd be thinking to myself, what could it be, you know? And she went to the right to be something completely different. But like back then, especially, I'd eat most things. It matters. It's kind of a difference to me. You know, I've eaten things. Yeah, we won't go into that. But yeah. So like we went to come out. Like I said, my sister said, "It's going to kill me, whatever. It's going to be nice." And I'd have great old fun and sport with that, you know. But one day I was going along. And I was in a small town, and I was after checking in because I was staying there overnight, and I was going along. I see people would be explaining to me, I'd be going from one kind of antique shop to another, and they'd be trying to get directions and stuff. And genuinely people who had no English and weren't expected to have it. And I was in their country, I should be able to speak their language. But I obviously couldn't. But I remember it was September, it was very, very hot, and I was going up it here, I was, you know, like gone were the wedding shoes now, and the old jeans and stuff. I was in my Helly Hansen shorts and my Helly Hansen runners and my Helly Hansen t-shirt and me shades and my Helly Hansen baseball cap. And of course, here I was now, the complete height of fashion, looking out if I could looking like a complete tulip again. But I remember going along, you know, and I was passing. There was this old lad standing out of the door, and to the right, kind of a small place, like almost like a shebeen. And there was this old lad standing there, and he was smoking a fag. And as I walked past, I looked in, and I could see inside there was about 5 or 6 old lads inside, and their tonsils awash with black porter, you know, or Luther Vons. I suppose what I call them, not Hamadans, I suppose an Hamadan would be kind of an Hamadan would be an idiot or a fool that couldn't help it, where no Luther Vaughan would be kind of an old smart old lad who'd be letting on he's an Hamadan, you know, that kind of way. He'd be the kind of old lad now, like that he'd be too smart, he'd be cute out, he wouldn't have noticed doing much work. But, and you'd normally find him surrounded by a harem of Hamadans, if that makes sense to you. But I couldn't find the antique shop, and I came back down. And I said, Chris, you know what, I'll go in. This is about 12 o'clock in the day. And I went in, I sat down, you know, and I ordered a beer. And Chris, they were all mad looking at me. Sure, I looked like a complete spared prick altogether. The way I was dressed, you know. And the lads were sitting there, they're looking at me, they were saying that, they were talking about themselves. So the next day, when I called for a second drink, I said to the woman behind the bar, I said, you know what, I said, when I give the, you know, there was only a few of them there, I said, give the lads a drink. So of course she gave me a drink, and they kind of warmed me. Then they started asking me where I was from and stuff, and sure, when I told them I was Irish, they were delighted altogether with me. But but you know, the crux of the whole story is that they would not leave that place without buying me a drink back, you know, and like that's the same hospitality that we had if you're in Ireland, you know, and like I was quite happy with my the second beer. I was just happy to go, and there was no way, Chris, no, I wasn't going to leave until I got a beer back, you know, and I thought that was a very honourable thing to do, and fierce nice of lads, and I'm sorry I didn't stay longer, you know, but I had to go on. I went back to where I was staying. I was staying actually over another pub and a restaurant on the outskirts of the town where another old lad had told me about it. But beautiful country, beautiful people, and I hope to go back there, as well as to head off to other different places, you know. I suppose really, you know, this is number 13, and I suppose I haven't a whole pile more to say without boring you. I genuinely want to thank you for coming along with me. There's a couple of things I know I was going on about Brexit the last day and stuff, and you know what, I'm going to take a note. I've had my head inside in the sand about Brexit, and I've been bitching about Brexit now since Brexit happened, and I decided to man up now and to just deal with it, you know, like all other business people and stuff. So now I'm a lot happier about the whole thing, in the sense that I have been engaging. I just want to let you know I've been engaging with Her Majesty's revenue collectors, with the Irish revenue collectors, and between this, that, and everything else, and other professionals, customs agents, and everything else, I obviously have I've no other option but to look back to the UK for stuff, and it's the country I know, and the friends that I know, all my dealer friends over there, just to say a huge hello to you, and I am coming back. At some stage, and then down the line as well, you know, we're going to do something different. We're going to look to Europe as well, and I'll take you along on the journey. I have my brain is always continuously trying to solve problems anyway, problem solving, and I have ideas, and I have other things that I want to do and take the Vintage Room in maybe a different direction and stuff. And if that works out, you're going to hear all about it. If it doesn't, you won't hear a word. Okay. I can't talk about it to you right now because it wouldn't make much sense. But I have other ideas, and I am looking forward, genuinely so looking forward to the future. And I hope that you'll all be there to come along on the journey with me. And as things happen, I will be posting more stories. For now, these IGTV traveling adventure stories, this is kind of the last one. Say thanks to everybody. I do want to make a mention to one person in particular, Jack Regan from West Talk. Who has come on board with me, and it was Jack's West Talk, which is for promoting local businesses, and this was kind of Jack's idea in the first place. I know I grabbed the ball and ran with it. I do. If I was rolling credits right now, which I had thought about trying to do something, because every now and again you have to have a thing called a silly hour, but I just got to mention a few things, you know, like directed, produced, camera and lighting, recorded, starring, cameo role appearance, wardrobe and makeup, all by Eddie Pyburn, and not scripted or edited. That's kind of it. Just to say to you, the people that are watching this, thank you so much for coming along on this journey. And there is whispers that we'll be opening soon, that the lockdown and stuff are going to be lifted. I now need to go back and start concentrating on the shop and getting more stock in it. That's all for me to worry about, and get it all together look forward to opening again and to meeting you and to seeing you all over the course of next weeks, months, or indeed years. For now, that's it, and thank you. Cut.